check.
Mike check.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in for West Wednesday. This is 578. We invite the North Side for accountability, not just for my big brother Tyrone West, but literally for all the victims of police brutality and murder. So just want to apologize because we supposed to go on at 7 and we're late or whatever because I got a lot on my mind. And one being is my nephew. So they got my nephew all in the newspaper now in the whole 96 where he's from. And it's just crazy right now. So I ask that everybody get prayed, keep my family in prayer. George is really sad. And I just wanted to tonight talk about how the media is paid and do whatever they want to do. Right now, all of my nephew's rights are being violated because you're supposed to be covered by the HEPA. They're pretty much have your privacy, things of that nature. And now they have them from a hospital bed because the media is so thirsty. Because at the end of the day, we know that this is Tyrone West's baby son. Let's be crystal clear. And that's why immediately when it started releasing the other name of the so-called victim that he got into a confrontation with, they didn't say anybody's name. I just heard the person name today. But meanwhile, they got to show my brother's son name all during the week. Then even show the office security personnel and they're saying with the witness and all this stuff that shot by that's why he was in church. This is ridiculous. Like it's all over the media, it's all over. And then including a person that suffers from mental illness that they caused. Let's be crystal clear. Before my brother Tyrone West was executed on July the 18th, 2013, beat to death in broad daylight by 17 maniacs, killed for no reason other than being black while driving in a murder car. Wasn't breaking no laws, wasn't doing anything wrong. And thank God he wasn't suffering from any mental health issues because they would have excluded him. But it's crazy that when Caucasian folks suffer from mental health issues, they don't do that. That's the first conversation they want to respectfully have to get the person to help. And they're like, oh, which person? Even down to when Donald Trump got shot or whatever. They said they called the person, oh, he was a young man, he had mental health issues. They showed his positive picture, all that. So I know what they're doing is deliberate. And I'm sick of the way the system treats black people in particular. And it's disgusting to me. And it's tough. So literally, I'm coming home from work Friday, and I'm ready to get my weekend on just to relax. If you work hard for a capitalist system all during the week, slaving, dragging in and out type of thing. You know, don't even you so tired. I'm so tired. I really ain't have time to enjoy my family like I want to do. That's the time I really get to enjoy them on the weekend because I'm free. I ain't got to go to my job. I can cook things for them. We have family time. All the wonderful things that I like doing. Even though I love my job because I work with children, they make my day. But my point is, you do all that, and I expect to have a beautiful weekend last weekend, and I get a call while I'm driving home saying that my nephew was shot either by a security guard or police officer in his chest. This is a call that I'm getting while I'm driving, and I just dropped my coaching job. And I'm like, I could have gotten an accident, had to pull over, get myself together, but it's just a disgrace what we go through as African American people. And if that wasn't enough, I'm a backtrack, and I know I got y'all going, like, because my mind is on a lot. Because when I say I had a rough week, I had a rough week. Literally, I will wind into that Monday. Monday, it was my birthday. My birthday was that Sunday. I had Monday off. But when you're working for a capitalist system and trying to make things work and achieve things that you can't normally do on your off day, because anybody on their off day want to be relaxing, chilling out. Me, I can't do that. When you're mother, you got to constantly do things. So me being a mother, that day, I said, you know what, let me take care of the appointment I had for my daughter that morning. And while I'm doing that, let me go get my own change. Like, let me see what I got a little birthday love from you guys. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get me an oil change. I'm gonna go get me an oil change. Go there, get my oil change. Literally, by Wednesday, my car sounded like it wanted to blow up. When I was pulled over in my vehicle last West Wednesday talking to you guys, my car sounded like an airplane. I'm like, wait a minute, nothing can't be wrong. I just got an oil change. Like, why is it making this loud sound? Long story short, I called the people from the mechanic shop and I told them, I said, hey, my contract is weird now. Is there any way that I can come back on? Long story short, I'm going to speed it on up. They literally did not put any oil in my car. My car was down to the drain. So they double charged me when I went back in there Saturday. Because unfortunately, I work. I work for a capitalist system that I can't avoid work. So they're like, we only open Monday through Friday. You know, can you come back Friday? I'm like, no, I go to work. Can I reach y'all first? Because I don't know why this car is sounding like this. Why is my vehicle sounding like it's about to blow up? He said, well, I'll see if I can come down the shop, but I can't promise you nothing. So I'm like, okay, but thank God, that's the only decent thing he did was he met me 30. Because had I would have waited some money, I would have been without a vehicle. Because literally, it didn't have any oil. So he calls me a line and say, Miss Jones, oh, come to find out. You have an oil leak. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, what are you talking about? I got an oil leak. How is it an oil leak? You leaked out the six quarts of oil that I put in. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. I ain't seen no oil in my driveway. I done had a car before that had an oil leak. So I know what a car that has an oil leak looks like because immediately, as soon as you pop the hood, you want to see oil all over the edges, you're going to see the oil. If nobody's have an oil leak, you don't see it. Then the next thing goes and says, oh, well, maybe you're burning it. But even which way, you can leave your car here now, or you can bring it back on Monday, and I'll see where the car is leaking oil. And I'm like, y'all be kidding. Y'all ain't got charged 150 against me for the oil change. Then you turn right around and charge me another 100 talking about you had to add 6 more your court for oil. Then you the 100. Mind you, I didn't even have it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Long story short, after that, I'm thinking, oh my God. And thank God, one of my family members from the West Coalition, a female, came to my house and said, look, I'm not a mechanic, but let me make sure your oil's not leaking, this type of thing. I'm like, okay. She touched it. She like, this still long. She said, well, I don't know, it's still low. Long story short, another one of my beautiful queens literally said, well, I'm out of town. Out of town minding her own business to the revelation. She actually said her boyfriend, she had her friend, a mechanic, an excellent one. An excellent one. Let's be crystal clear. And who figured out that I was short of because we having a diesel engine. For one, the typical car uses 6 quarts. My car uses 9. So he's like, wait a minute, you're 3 quarts short. I had to spend another $45 to get some more oil. Now I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So now I pay double. Why? Because I'm black and American. And that's what they do to black women. It is sad that you can't be a black woman and take your vehicle into a car shop and literally pay your money and expect good service. And the reason why I'm talking about this could have cost me my whole car. Like there was no oil in my car, but I paid you for an oil tank, and then you extorted me, and then you told me to leave my car there for you to find the oil. And then I said, well, how much that's gonna cost? Well, I don't know. I don't see how much it costs depending on where it's leaked or something. I'm like, so if I would have, and that day, my mom was going, here it is. My nephew almost got killed. He's in the hospital. I need my vehicle because literally I was going to ride out of town to go where my nephew was. So now I'm like, what do I do? Do I leave my car here or whatever? But something said, no, just take your car home. And I'm praying that it didn't shut down or run out of oil. But long story short, that wasn't even it. He lied. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. And it's all hand in hand of this system that is crazy. And the fact that you know that you screw somebody over, you could at the least, the bare minimum was gave me back half my money. You robbed me. Like, you made me double pay for an oil change that you never gave me. And then you literally didn't give me back anything. And then when I called, he like got nasty. And then the crazy part, his guilt kicked in because before I was going to call his owner what he did to me, he's literally blowing my phone back up. What do you want? I'm the owner. I can talk. He's like, who does that? So don't show me your guilt talk because y'all never called me back as much as I dealt with them in the past. And he was telling me because I got to call him. But my point is, why do we have to go through so much of trauma with anything? Like that was traumatized because this is a vehicle that gets me and my children around, that takes me to the supermarket, that takes me to work. And literally, I was about to leave it. And then the family said, you definitely don't. I'm glad I caught this. Hey, the nerve to say, I'm glad I caught this because your engine by itself is 4,500. That's not the worth it. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Excuse my language. Are you kidding me? But this is what I've been going through. And so you got to push through, smile, keep going, keep it moving. Like, at the point, you get tired of the foolishness. And then the day for me to see again my nephew in the media after he was shot, Tyrone West, youngest son, going through mental health issues because they killed his father. And they exploited him on the news. He wasn't protected by the help law. The media exploited him. They been through his name out there. Then they said they denied his bond and all that. And then they got him on. He said that they broke my ribs, they shot me and my chest, they did this. I just want these dogs to be like, and not knowing that people are looking at it like, oh, he don't have sympathy for what he did. Well, it's two sides to every story. It's two sides to every story. And for you not to have him represented by an attorney or even by his grandmother who has, you know, the custody over him because of his mental illness. You know, she's the person that has power of attorney over him. Instead of you having a first-time conversation with her, excuse me, guys. This is great because every time we come up with now, every time. But anyway, but my point is, the system is dirty, y'all. Extremely dirty. This is what we go through. And the fact is so dirty that I cannot even go on Facebook Live. This video will not even be posted to my own personal page because Facebook decided they wanted to take me down, not for doing nothing wrong, but because I had the beautiful queen, Crystal Gonzalez, his beautiful daughter, Aaliyah Gonzalez, was murdered in Brooklyn home. She was one of the ones that was murdered in the Brooklyn home massacre. Her and another young man got murdered literally, and 30 people were shot, and she was murdered. And her beautiful daughter was one of the ones that was murdered, and she got on there as a mother and saying, you know, she want to advocate for her daughter, she want to make sure. And this was on my Facebook Live. They snatched my videos down, all because I called Wally worthless. That's all I said. I ain't make no threats. I called Wally worthless to his damn face. I done called him worthless a million times. Because he is worthless. And I don't give a damn if they take this down. You can take every video, every podcast, all like that. You will not take my voice away from you. I promise. But all because I said, oh, worthless Willie knew about it. He did not protect anyone. And then it said, everybody's like, oh, you know, you're posting on Facebook. Oh, it's back. And then they sent me a message saying, oh, we took your video down because we don't condone violence on here. Like, what? Exciting violence. It's exciting violence. Like, I was excited. Like, I told somebody, people, like, I'm Donald Trump. But yes, this is my president all over again. He can send people down to the Capitol because this thing was stand back and stand by, pretty much. They can do all this foolishness. You got a criminal running against a prosecutor, like very interesting. But I'm not here to talk politics. I'm here to talk right and what's wrong. And my point is, the system is dirty to African American people, and I'm sick of seeing it over and over again. And it ain't even dirty just to this; it's dirty to literally mostly everybody. Because my friend Lynn, pretty much, she got her whole account allegedly hacked. She can't even get on Facebook. Why? Because her son, her foster son, Jesse Surratt, was executed. She was one of the deaths on my West Wing too. And literally, after she got on, now that I think about it, after she got on my Facebook page for an exclusive interview, someone hacked her page mysteriously, and now she can't even get back on to put her son page down. She can't even get back on like normally when hackers hack your stuff, you can create this stuff, you can create another page. But now some type of interference is happening that she can't do anything. So you got a full mother that can't even advocate to have family and friends on Facebook for over decades. She can't even get that going. And she was the first one in Seattle to ever have a killer cop go to jail. The first one, let's be crystal clear, the first one. Like she should be on every media talking about her story and showing us how to do. That's why they got banned and shut it down because she was showing the me how to get accountability. And as we get closer to it, this is the foolishness. The retaliation is real. I got so many scratches on my car. Like, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. If they're not banging nails in your car, and people say, well, you can ride over nails. It's very funny that all the activists that are fighting hard, my sister Latoya, we go through this. Her car got nails in it. We all show up with nails in our car in the same exact spot. Get out of here with the foolishness. We know what you're doing. We know who you are. And we're not going for it. You're not going to shut us down by you're going to pay. So I don't care where y'all take it from. And at first, when they started out with my Facebook, they was doing something on YouTube. You see, they selling glasses on YouTube. That's the perfect clear. The only maniac we were doing was killing Louise on there. That's the perfect clear. We were showing killing Louise of starving people that led up to my brother being murdered. That's the only violence here. He is a violent guy, but why shut us down? We're trying to save people out. I don't want somebody to be pulled over by Louise on the wrong day and end up like Tyrone West and Bruce Long, again, like the list goes on. And then God knows the 36 people that he assaulted that was brave enough to go and give all their personal information to report him. So my whole point, he's still working. And he works in Michelle, he's married to Michelle Barry, a state prosecutor, and we wonder why Ivor Bates can't prosecute my brother too. Interesting. Interesting. But my whole point, the system is dirty. And at night, my brother is Boone still out here. My brother Boone. Come on, Boone. He used to show up at West Wednesday. When I first met this brother, he showed up at West Wednesday with suits on. I thought he was in a car. I'm like, see me, brother, like I want, can I get, oh my God, brother. Everybody is, oh my God, like, I gotta get over the biggest hug ever. And Boone gonna shut it down. Like he done did a baby stuff, friend, passed the wrong one out of town. Another private scale. Let's be clear, when passed the wrong slam out of town, he did it respectfully. He didn't do it in front of me. He waited till I left and key checked. So that's what you call it, key check. So I'm gonna give it a mic check and pass the mic. Mic check. There's a saying that me and Tawana used to sit have, and there come a time when you have your mic and your picket sign, and do what you gotta do out here. But then it comes to a time where, like I see myself, when you go to Detroit and then you go to California, you go to places like Mississippi, and you find out that this city is one of the most racist, Jim Crow, black participant cities out of all the cities. You may have second, they probably still some organs, so that's the organ law. That's when you know somebody organs when you go. Every time I hear avalanche, I think that's the next organ, young man or woman is going to get their organs taken or being checked with something that's going to poison our community. And even a little car just to get on the ground, as I was saying. Baltimoreans need to stop looking on the news and looking at outside cities. And one thing that I noticed that we do city comparison. You look at Detroit, but you don't understand why those young men in Detroit are doing the things that they're doing, because when the police grab them, they take them into electric chambers and electrocute them and make them plead guilty to the things that they do. So what I will say to you is the thing that's about streets is called post-incarceration syndrome. You're going to find that young men and people that are getting pulled over because of these slave catchers and pigs, police informant and government snitches are so evil that someone would rather shoot out with them than go through the hell of what they took us through with the fake justice. I repeat that. So the word chicken come home to roost is this is not for a police that is doing his right job. The fact of the matter is, when I signed up to join a football team, and if the team is losing, the coach get fired along with his team, and we are all considered a piece of shit. That's like how the police is considered when you have joined that police department. And I'll say this to the people that can hear the words that's coming from my mouth. That believe that a police department that can't even hold up a consent decree. A consent decree means that they have been indicted, that they have been held, and the average citizen that wakes up every day have not read the 270 something pages of what those people are supposed to be held accountable for. And that's why Baltimore City cannot even find police to even govern them. So the ones that they do have, guess what? They're starting to think, well, we ain't going to be here along anyway. Let's just start terrorizing the citizens. The Baltimore Police Department is literally about to fall, about to be government. It's already, of course, material, like military, but it's really about to be taken over because the average police wants to break law when he joins the police department. Right now, they have a crutch on it where you have to actually be a police, and nobody in Baltimore City that goes to be a police has been mandatory and implemented to be one. Every police that's in the police department now will have to damn near get shipped out of here in Norway somewhere outside the country to know what racism don't look like. It's called America. You hear my sister say black people don't live in America. We live in America. We checks. And we ain't no balance though. We just a check. We don't get no balance. I say all that to say, I've been on the front line for about 15 years. And when you say when you got blood in the street, front line of kids get sent to prison too. My own son was out here in Israel. He had one of the biggest youth movements in the city. But guess what? He knows who owns you own you. So by him not taking his pen to go get money from Pam and go get money from Dixon and all them so they can actually monopolize off the youth who need the youth. And like you said, the jokes with some wisdom or just advisors, because they didn't play that. They gave my son a conjunction. My son is in federal prison right now. Stand up. My son running a 501c baby out to 86 kids that pee. Roy. You can't run a children's movement and give them $2,500 and give the police $80 million to kill the people. You can't run a women's prison that got a whole bunch of sisters that's mentally ill and a whole bunch of sisters that have substance abuse, and you give $600,000 to the substance abuse part for $22 million to the facility to work. You see what I'm saying? They know what they're doing. Let me tell you something. If crime started, stop tomorrow. Ask the police or somebody that's a probation officer what was they thinking about to do at peace stop. Ain't never one of them ever thinking that this stuff is going to stop because they don't have a second job. They know their kids, their grandkids, and their kids going to be trying to lock up my kids, and your kids. That's all you have to do. Ask the doctor, do we got another profession? No, he can't, because you know what? This is the number one headshot spot that the military used to look at gunshot wounds with their military soldiers. Your brother, your cousin, when his brains get blew out, they're not going to stop this economical benefit called, this is called divided snakes of America. That's why you don't know your neighbor here. This is America. We're scared of our neighbors. And our neighbors should be scared of us. Let's tell the truth. Because to help the people, you got to love the people and know the people. And if you love your TV station, Showtime, more than you love your neighbor, then it's Showtime. This is the devil's playground. What you put into the movement, you get out. The money is your vote. So if you don't have no civil duty after you go to the box office and you think the police going to clean your neighborhood up, I think you need to get the box bags yourself to clean the neighborhood up. Because you'll be cleaning it up with bags. Some of us was not taught after the crack, what is the responsibility of a vote, or if you don't use your vote. If you don't use your vote, then that means you have to do double the work in your community because you don't deal with the structure. And if you do vote, then that means you're supposed to damn near have a baseball bat holding the politicians accountable. And I don't see no buckle up kids nowhere. means it's the people in the cookie bag with the politicians. Because if ain't nobody got no busted up ears but the kids, then that means silence is consent.
Silence is no silence.
But tell you something, and I'm gonna leave you with this. Been in Baltimore 50 years. I was 8 years old when I realized there was no devil beneath the ground because I lived in Baltimore City. I'm here to tell you right now, the devil lives on 2 feet. He got an arm, he got a leg, he got an eye. Anybody that believes that the devil is under the ground, that you hear this word, living in Baltimore City, we too know to be that devil. If you want to know where the devil live at, come to the Baltimore front line. We'll show you corpse. We'll show you where the corpse at. We'll show you where the dead bodies are buried at. If you want to know that hell don't live nowhere else but in Baltimore, and the house is called City Hall, Annapolis, and the Negro Pens. Because the worst part that you can have in this 70% city that's melanated is 70% work from Jim Cronism from Negro Pens. Ain't that right? Brandon. Ain't that right, Jamal? Ain't that right, Pierre? So, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, you voted in your own demise when you was popularity voting with Dixon and Rolling Blake, so we are only getting the aftermath of what our own hands shining our ear for this. It's called sin. Self-inflicted nonsense. Let us pray.
Drop the mic. Go ahead. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. If you drop the mic, that's free. That's free. And real quick, I just want to like what you said. They come after your kids. They came after my brother Tyrone Westside. Literally right now, he's laying in the hospital suffering from mental health issues that they caused. They caused because they killed his father. He didn't have no mental illness before that. And to be honest, quite frankly, we all suffer from mental illness. Dealing with this society, that let you see somebody's baby get killed. Let you see Sonia Massey get murdered in our own home for boiling water. And they told her to turn the pot of water on because she rebuked them in the name of Christ. She blew her brains out. And I want to talk about that and why she was scared. Come to find out, her baby cousin Terrell Miller was killed months before. A 4-year-old baby. And I'm gonna talk about. Let's go talk about Terrell Miller's mother. Her name is Kiana Miller. And literally, when she in 2019, and this is how racist the police are in her state, she was actually pulled over one day. She had a conversation with a local cop, and he told her, he said, "I can't wait till your son grow up." And this was in 2019. "I can't wait to get baby. I can't wait to lock him up." What? And then you turn around. You turn around and you murder him. Literally, the poor mother got stabbed up. And the maniac that stabbed her up took the baby. Literally. Took the baby as collateral damage, housed him up. And they said within seconds, they didn't try to escalate at all. They didn't say, "Oh, drop the baby," because it was a black child. They instantly shot and murdered the baby and the killer. Like, oh, you kidding me? They are the killers. They are the killers. They didn't try to de-escalate that. And now, not only does a family suffer from having to see the way Sonia Massey was murdered, in a second couple, you wonder why she said, "Are y'all gonna kill me?" See, people think that we crazy when we tell y'all stuff. Because the system will have us looking like we're crazy, and we're not. We're not. Listen to people when they tell you stuff. Be your own conscious consumer. Stop believing the television. Stop believing the blues. Find out your own stuff before you pass judgment. Because it can easily and it will be true. Because when they run out of killing us, who do you think they coming after? Who do you think they coming after? They coming after you and your children. And I learned in my brother's case, it wasn't just about black and white, it was about blue. Blue, let's be crystal clear. Blue. The blue wall of silence, the blue Klux Klan. My brother was murdered by the blue Klux Klan. Let's be crystal clear. And I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter. It may not matter to the people that are killing us daily. It matters to the family that you leave behind, suffering for what you did. Suffering for what you did. And literally, I'm in doing this, and I'll pass the mic, and we can wrap it up. But literally, I have a young man out here tonight, my brother Chris, and I'll never forget we went killing David Lewis from Morgan State University. We was up there every week. Literally, you went in the rough summer, he was the one, the 340-pound man in front of my dying brother's neck, with his knee first down in his neck. Y'all thought y'all heard about George Floyd? Well, guess what? Time like West was George Floyd in 2013, be crystal clear. And be worse than that. Now, and I'm not trying to be because that was awful. I'm not taking nothing away from what George Floyd went through. It was horrible. It was heartbreaking. But could you imagine seeing George Floyd beat down by 17 covered cops? And then after that, laying there screaming, fighting for his life, gasping for breath, gasping for air after their pepper spray, came hit with a torn, beat, tore up from the floor up. And you leave them like that. And then killing David Lewis crashed into killing Chapman and killing Marie's car to come step on one unarmed man who was handcuffed in a hard-time position until he was dead. But my brother Chris, we went to Morgan State, and I'll never forget, my brother Chris got locked up in there. They waited till I left. Like literally after I left, and all he was doing was saying, we want cell blocks for killing cops, what we always say, type of thing. And they locked him up. I remember my brother Chris being out here when they said one of the maniacs that killed my brother had the nerve to come up here and say, when I called the supervisor, when Chapman rolled his head, blowing kisses and doing the cutthroat at me. And then I called the supervisor showed up and say something about Santa Claus, and I'll never forget Chris got in his butt. Chris said, who the ask you like, you wait till somebody compared your mother to Santa Claus. That shut him right on up. So again, I thank my wife first for your white privilege. That's why I told my cousin, she thinking, I'm glad I got white privilege and a black body. When I went to, I got white privilege. All white ain't white. All black ain't black. All black ain't black. And I'm so glad I got white privilege. And then when they be showing up at my door, I got my girlfriend who got a black booty that shows up in white body. And she covers me with that booty when I'm out. Everywhere. You got to clean out there. So again, I just want to thank y'all, and I'm gonna pass the mic to anybody that want to say something. Mic check.
Mic check. You need to stop being obsessed.
So I wanted to make sure that we talked this week about Crystal Kaiser. She was sentenced on Monday to serve 11 years for shooting Randall Volar. And this happened in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And in order to understand how important this all is, how typical it is, and how it kind of epitomizes the justice system in America, you have to start with the fact that it's Kenosha, Wisconsin. And that's where Kyle Rittenhouse took illegally straw purchased gun that a friend had bought for him and went to protest and decided to hunt people and ended up killing 2 people, wounding another person. He was never charged for that. Despite the fact that he was not allowed to own that gun, and he went there with the purpose of confronting people, he was not charged. Crystal Kaiser, when she was 16, mad in the back page looking for dates because her family in the shelter wanted spending money. And Randall Bowler answered that ad and began, taking her out on dates, giving her money. Eventually, he would take her to meet other men who would give him money, and Crystal would then have sex with those men. And so, I mean, obviously, this is rape, this is sexual trafficking, and this went on for a year and some time. When something else happened in this with Randall Bowler, because this was not the only black woman that Randall Bowler was interacting with. He was also interacting with a 14-year-old woman who ended up, she called 911 and said, "You have to come help me in this address because this man is drugging me. I think he's going to kill me." The police arrived. They found a 14-year-old girl topless in the yard, semi-conscious. On that basis, they went into his house and they searched his house, and they said they found hundreds of movies and videotapes of people having sex with underage girls, including two of Randall Bowler having sex with Principal Kaiser. And they had a 14-year-old girl there, saying he was trying to do these things to me. So Randall Bowler was taken down. He was taken down to the station. He was interrogated, and he was let go. 4 months later, Crystal Kaiser shot him in the head twice while he was on top of her. Lit fire in his house, took his car and computer, and drove off. He was caught eventually. And the prosecutor wanted to charge her with murder one. She had to go all the way to the state Supreme Court to get a ruling that her being trafficked and raped she was allowed to bring that into court as a mitigating circumstance. And that took most of the year while she was in jail. So they reduced the charge, eventually pleaded to a lesser charge, and was sentenced to 11 years, less time term. She would be 9.5 perfect years. But for me, this is just like so emblematic of the rise of American jurisprudence. That this man, they had video evidence of him, and some of the girls in these videos were 12 years old. And yet he was never locked up, never put in jail, never had to go to bail, and let back out and reoffending partying of the next day. And yet, and Kyle Rittenhouse, who could go hunting in the streets of Kenosha, shooting people with his AR-15, nothing happened to him. But when a black woman defends herself from a rapist, 9.5 years spending in jail. So I just wanted to. That happened this week. Her 2 cents on Monday, and I just think it's the sort of thing that we all need to. Someone says, "Well, why don't you call the police? Why don't you have the police take care of that?" That's the story you tell them. And so I'm sorry to have to put that kind of stuff on people, but that's the world we live in. Thank you.
Saying that I wasn't even aware of it. Like this is disgusting. And again, women and children are most, disrespecting and neglected beings in America. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. So on that note,
What they bring based on touching kids, I bet this they're not even going to try. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So we just gonna have to just go home, kick in the door where you have to go.
So again, I'm gonna open the mic before anybody want to say anything. Mic check.
Mic check.
I don't know if any of you have seen I think it's on Netflix called The Keeper. That's what Brian just reminded me of. That was way back in like the 70s. A nun was found was missing, and then she was found murdered. But it turned out that the whole Catholic Church and the police department were sex trafficking young girls. They were like picking them up on the way to Catholic school and raping them and and whatever. That's what he reminded me of. But I don't remember the names of this other case that I wanted to talk about, which is the white woman who shot through her metal door at the black mother while her 9-year-old son was standing next to her because she was trying to use the stand your ground law in Florida. Yeah, Florida is like rampant killing ground of minorities with like all the white people thinking they could just say, "Oh, I'm standing my ground," and just kill people. But it turns out that she actually baited the woman to come to her house. She went out and was fussing at the kids for just being kids outside playing, and then she's like, go get your mother and all this kind of stuff. Well, when he came back with Mama and they were standing and the mom knocked on the door, she shot through the metal door and killed her. But luckily, a jury rejected that bullshit defense. So a little bit of justice. And then another thing that I keep seeing is all of these mayors and governors and stuff now that it's an election year are coming out with the statistics. Oh, crime is down. Crime is down across the United States. Crime is down. And they didn't do this with whatever statistics they're using. It's a civilian on civilian crime, civilian against establishment crime, whatever. But what is not down, and I'm going to say it every time I take this mic, is police murdering people. That's gone up. It's gone up. It used to average around 1,100 a year, and it is topping 13, going towards 1,600 a year. So make this make sense. Like, who's the real criminals out here? Who's the real criminals? If civilians aren't committing all these murders, and this is to say, like, people who died at the hands of police, there are plenty that survive. There are plenty that survive. So you take that 1,600, or let's just say median 1,300, and multiply that by, say, 8 survivors of that police department in a month, a day, a year, or whatever. Multiply that. The statistic that you'll come out with is that the police are the biggest gang in America. They are a legalized, militarized gangs in every street in America, terrorizing citizens. Because the citizens aren't terrorizing each other anymore. It's the police terrorizing citizens. And the young man that they killed, the 17-year-old that they killed, right here in Baltimore a couple weeks ago, they want to like take forever to release this body cam footage or whatever. And I still can't tell. I thought it was a cell phone in his hand. I still can't tell what's going on with that shit. But like that's just what they do. And then as far as like the Facebook shit, I don't know if you know this, but there's a bunch of activists across this country whose Facebook Live is not functioning, or that like their Facebook pages are being shut down. And the only thing that is violent, that is encouraging violence in the video, is actually Jorge Bernardes Ruiz. Because we make a video, we had a video made, and we show that to show what a loose cannon this asshole is, and that's the only violent content. So this is going to show proof that these fucking police watch, and then they're like targeting activist pages all across this country. And it was like really around the same time, a whole bunch of images were popping up all over Instagram, like, oh yeah, my face just mysteriously blocked. And then and I think that the ACLU or whatever, you think you're like saying that you're out there fighting for people's civil liberties. Well, this is a civil liberties issue. This is a First Amendment issue. Why aren't you banding together all these activists with a class action lawsuit against Facebook, against Mark Zuckerberg, against the powers that be? Because we all know that the police got a back door into Facebook. They can see anybody's account that they want. they can deactivate anybody's account that they want. Like, what was their inciting violence? It was that, this young lady lost her life in the Brooklyn Homes mass shooting, and her mom tearfully just telling her story gets Tawanda's page blocked off. Like, make that make sense. Because we use the term worthless Worley. How about racist Worley? You like that one better? How about, like, genocide enabling Worley? You like that one better? So, like, block this one, whatever. But when we showed the Sonia Massey video, Miss Gina, India Cater's mom, was on that day. And didn't get blocked that day, but I had to put a trigger warning on YouTube. I went back and I put a trigger warning on YouTube because YouTube's been like saying, "Oh, this isn't fit. Your videos aren't fit for people 18 and under." Which, okay, whatever. But is reality that hard? The reality that Americans have to live through? The reality that minority Americans have to live through? Is that so freaking painful? You don't want children to be forewarned? They know what's going on out here. You want to say somebody under 18 can't watch a West Wednesday video, but you're killing 17-year-olds in the middle of the freaking street. You're killing people before they're graduating high school. Or you wait until they graduate or they turn 18 and then you're going after them. We know these stories too well. How many of us know a story of a young person who was just like kind of just being a little riffraff out there in the freaking streets, and the police know them and wait for them to turn 18 and then pin all kinds of shit on them and get them in the system? So, United States of America has a lot of fucking work to do. A lot of work to do when it comes to our citizens that aren't wealthy corporations or whatever. But I just wanted to say that I'm like really, really like sick and tired of them putting these statistics out like, oh yeah, these police departments are doing such a good job because crime is low. Because they're committing a fucking crime. That's why. They're committing the crimes. They're the drug dealers. They're the gun runners. They're the ones with the CIs on payroll committing freaking murders. They're the ones allowing their names to be used as an alias by criminals, killing people. They're the criminals. They're the ones committing the crime. Mic check.
Mic check.
And that's why it's real weird tonight because they got all here like, well, I know the only that's a problem. And then you send the people that's why I so love because they all over everywhere. Mic check.
Mic check.
I want to encourage everyone after tonight's rally, get a copy of the Communist Progressive Labor Party newspaper. The cover article is about the fight for accountability for Sonia Massey. And I think that if you have a chance to read that, please, if you're able to do that. I want to go back in history a little bit and then bring up Chris's case in Morgan and a connection. In the 1930s, the poet Langston Hughes was on a tour of the historically black colleges. And at one of them, when he got there had just been a tragic case where one of the professors, a black woman, had been in the car, been in an accident, was badly hurt, and the closest hospital was whites only, and she died. And the students came to Langston Hughes and said, "Can you help us organize a protest?" And he said, "Of course." So he made a plan. They went to the administration for approval. The administration said, "No, you can't do that." And he met with Langston Hughes again, made a second plan. Went back to the administration and said, "No, you can't do that." And it happened again and again, and they were unable to do anything by way of protest about the killing, well, not the killing, but the death due to racism of his faculty members. So Langston Hughes, in the conclusion of this essay he wrote, called Cowards from the Colleges, he said that the HBCU, or at that time, historically black colleges, and more recently, historically black colleges and universities, he said their main function under capitalism is to train Uncle Tom. That was a while ago. Some things changed and some things are haven't changed that much. So when we were having that rally at Oregon State at the Student Center, the whole hallway inside is devoted to a pictorial testimony to the civil rights movement, and particularly the Morgan students who integrated some of the things over there, wherever that shopping center is called on Oregon Drive. And what hypocrisy to pretend, the leadership of Morgan at that time, to pretend that they wanted to fight racism, and when someone stood up and fought racism, they locked him up. And I think we have to remember that. I have a minority opinion about Kamala Harris, which I'll point out. She was the prosecuting attorney for San Francisco, and then she was the attorney general for the whole state of California. During the time she had those two positions, about 600 people in California were killed by the police under her jurisdiction, and she didn't prosecute any of them. I think we should keep that in mind. That sometimes the liberals are even more dangerous than the gutter racists like Trump.
I don't think nobody more dangerous than that man.
That's my point of view. I recognize you might give an only point of view here, but I want to share it. Mike check.
I love you, Uncle Bill, but I'm gonna echo. I don't think nobody more dangerous than him. Like really, like I remember when people used to be president, they would keep them conversations at their Thanksgiving thing. Now they say it right in front of you. Just because of him. Just because of him. And I would vote for Ronald McDonald. That's because the kid with his whole entire whole teeth ruined. I'm not lying. Real story. I would vote for Ronald McDonald before I ever get a vote. Before I ever withdraw a vote. Because if he withdrawing a vote, it's for meeting him. Like that.
On that note, I want y'all to understand what ALEC is, ALEC. All these stores up and down these streets right here, every last one of them, they actually participate in the private prisons all throughout the United States. And when I say with that, who owns you. So a lot of times, don't participate in that, or you might just want to get them to put made in the Maryland Industrial Complex, so you can see how many of your citizens in your city actually have to be slaves to make you some price buster parts. The price buster is like one of the main people that need just to furnish 139 bodies inside of the furniture department to make sure that people, which if you're listening off my mouth, you're probably going to get a price buster, mattress. Won't you just think about your brother or your cousin that they demanding to make that? So high in demand in Baltimore City means more lockups. I'm going to repeat that. Whatever product that is number one in Baltimore, and that's called ignorance. The number one that's selling in Baltimore is ignorance. So by being so ignorant and wanting our wants taken care of, that our wants is actually making sure that the next young man gets dragged out of Gilmore home. So to get our wants down, and let's work on now what we need to do, and we'll probably see that they'll start kicking some of that corporate citizenship out that we don't demand because we don't know nothing about it. Mike check.
Y'all got church for free tonight. I should pass around the basket. My account. Anybody else want to tell anything? We always ask. Hi, this is not about police brutality specifically, but it is an example of Baltimore neglecting working class people. You might have heard about Ronald Silver's death recently because of the negligence of the DPW. We're having a march next Wednesday from 5 to 6 at the Western Sanitation Yard, which is 701 Reedford Road. So if anyone would like to come out and demand better conditions for them and justice from Mr. Silver, look. Thanks so much. Thanks for going there. What is next Wednesday from what 6 to did you say 6 to 8? 6 to 8. That's when well I'm sorry, let me get that from the
Yeah,
5 to 6.
yeah.
5 to 6.
5 to 6, I'm sorry. 5 to 6 next Wednesday. That's Wednesday, 5 to 6. Share that place. I wish I was off, but I trying to go and support it. And that's another way to get black folks from working in America. It's the sad and disgusting. I talked about that on West Wednesday last or probably a week before. But literally, this man wasn't taking care of our trans community, and you couldn't give him nothing to drink. It's sad. Animals get better treatment than human beings. That is very disgusting to me. But again, I just want to thank you every last one of you tonight for coming out. I want to thank you every last one of you for tuning in. And again, please, if you have a prayer, keep my nephew Trayvon West in prayer because they got this thing blown all up down in South Carolina. It's disgusting. Disgusting. And remember, there's two sides to every story. When somebody's going to church and pray to get their mind right, their mind is not even right. And they're just blowing us up. They didn't do that to Dylan Wilson kill people in the church that I talked about last Wednesday in my car. And then 2 days later, my nephew gets gunned down in the church. Very interesting. Very interesting. So on that note, we're gonna unfortunately Oprah want to say something. Mike check.
Mic check.
Oh shit, it's been a long time. So I've been kind of on a journey. Like I've been all over the country since I left Baltimore. I spent like a second on the road, and I was in El Paso when all the folks came in, and it was a really beautiful thing. And then as soon as Biden showed up like the next day, and they raided everybody, threw them out on the street, they're like put them in jail and shit. But I really want to speak to what's going on in California. I spent a year there, and I'm surrounded by human tragedy, people who are suffering from these drugs they're pumping on the streets, and it's like some side drugs you've never seen. It's things that are straight up killing people, and that's you got to like look at California because what's happens there comes here. And one of the big things that happened was where liberals appealed to the Supreme Court and got them to rule that even if you have nowhere to go, you are a criminal for having nowhere to go in this country. And that's something we got to look at because this video is popping up all over the internet. Arrests, they're going after people in California now. Gavin fucking Newsom, like the worst. He is the worst. We lucked out that we didn't get Gavin Newsom, honestly. Because that guy, he's real bad. But he's had enough. And now he's going grabbing people's possessions himself. You go down there and rip up people's shit. Like all proud and happy. And they're doing it all over the fucking state. And this video's all online. And they're all potential victims of police violence, every single one of them. I was sleeping in the woods, and they would send in fully armed SWAT teams into the woods to go after people. Like, that shit is coming our way. These liberals, they see this homelessness problem, and they're like, let's just crush it because we want to be seen as the responsible ones now all of a sudden. And so watch out, it's coming this way, and look out for your houseless friends. There's a lot of people out there on the streets. I mean, I'm one of them. There's so many of us. Everybody out there, I met so many amazing people and heard so many amazing stories, and I wonder if they're even alive, honestly. I've seen things like people getting washed away in the rivers of the floods in California, and nobody cares. It's just, they don't even count it. People die, nobody counts it. But it was strange to come back, and then all of a sudden the whole race split. Trump almost gets assassinated, and then Kamala's now in. But they're not. If anything, they're going to go after migrants more. They're going to go after homeless more. Democrats have realized that that's the way to get their little coalition, and they're throwing us all under the bus, like I knew they would when before. So just be safe out there. Think about your friends. Know anybody's out in the streets, and just look out for people because we really are all God. We really are all.
Thank you so much. And I'm glad you made that point because the thing with my nephew was set out was in the article that they put out, the discussion article they put out today, they emphasized, oh, he's homeless.
What does that mean? We're not going to let him out of jail because he's homeless. And that's really echoed in my email with the family, how they come before. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. So, anybody else want to say anything before we go to the family? I'm sorry. It goes out to you. I'm sad. We have a homeless young man on here tonight, man. Having his prayer. And we all pretty much a paycheck or two away from being homeless. It's disgusting. And the murder cup. It's really disgusting. So again, I thank you guys. I'm gonna read our statement and we will proceed after that with the sad list. It is the mission of the West Coalition to work for accountability for Tyrone West and all the victims of police brutality. We believe that there is a connection between police brutality and community violence. Police can use de-escalation strategies to diffuse situations without necessarily using force. And we encourage community members to resolve conflicts without violence. We care deeply about those families impacted by police brutality and community violence. And I'll say it again. We care deeply about those families impacted by police brutality and community violence. We seek to lift the names of their loved ones from a place of respect and care. We have changed these names of these shot and killed by police and lost to community violence from national and local news outlets. We know that these are no means exhaustively. And then we also know that gun violence isn't the only way people are murdered. We need to change tell information about the circumstances surrounding each of these deaths for the people who died. By reading these names, we are not condoning violence. I'll say that again. Facebook, you hear that? By reading these names, we are not condoning violence behavior on the part of anyone involved in a situation. So the time now is 8:22. We'll come, I'm sorry, 8:21. We'll come back at 8:22. Mic check.
Mike check.
I'm sorry, the time now is 8:22. I knew that would happen. We're gonna come back at 8:23. If you wanna pray, say a prayer for these families. If you wanna just send positive thoughts, please do so. We definitely truly are in the time of need. Mic check.
Mike check.
All right, thank you guys so much. Mic check.
Mike check.
So, my, my job each week is to read the, list of people who died in Baltimore, by violence each week. And, I just wanted to remember that each of these persons are the universe of themselves. Each of these persons has a mother, a father, brothers, sisters, friends, co-workers. The damage that this short list represents echoes out indefinitely. And so I ask that we dedicate ourselves to making this list disappear. This week, Timothy Johnson, Carol Watson,
Carol Watson.
David Philpott,
David Philpott.
Donnell Bristol,
Donnell Bristol.
Anthony Martin.
Anthony Martin.
Thank you.
Mic check.
Mike check. Just to reiterate my point from earlier, the list that we have of the national police violence victims um, is only 6 days long, and there's 25 names on it.
Shame.
And so that's an average of more than 4 a day. A couple of years ago, they averaged 3 a day. We've seen as many as like 6, 7, 8 in one day, which is disgusting. And I mean, that's all there is to say about it. You don't see my point because we need to get here. Okay, so same thing, just restate the name. On August 7th, in Johnsonburg, Pennsylvania, 40-year-old Jacob Gregian.
Jacob.
Also on the 7th of August, in Americus, Georgia, 45-year-old Jamie Lynn Still.
Jamie Lynn Still.
Also on the 7th, in Onyx, California, name withheld by police.
Cell blocks for killer cops.
Okay. Also on the 7th, in Mesa, Arizona, 35-year-old Brandon Kaiser.
Brandon Kaiser.
Again on the 7th, in Houston, Texas, 42-year-old Edmundo Meza. Also on the 7th, in Fort Worth, Texas, 41-year-old Bo Orell. On the 8th of August, in Summit, that's Mississippi, 25-year-old Usher Leonard. Also on the 8th of August, in Irvine, California, 37-year-old Paul Montaser. Also on the 8th, in Raton, New Mexico, 42-year-old Tyrell Cutchy. Also on the 8th, in Campbell, Missouri, name withheld by police.
Cell blocks for killer cops.
Okay. On the 9th of August, in Palm Bay, Florida, 29-year-old Joseph Fleming. Also on the 9th of August, in Marion, Virginia, 27-year-old Timothy Goodman. Also on the 9th, in Anaheim, California, 18-year-old Victor Delgadillo. And last on the 9th of August, in Smyrna, Georgia, 32-year-old Nathan Jenkins.
We decided to split the list this evening. Moving to August the 10th in San Bernardino, California, 54 years old, killed by police, Albert Park. Again on the 10th in Forney, Texas, a person who was killed by police, his name has been withheld by them.
Cell blocks for killer cops.
On the 10th yet again in Phoenix, Arizona, 46 years old, Imani Jackson. Again on the 10th in Sullivan, Missouri, 30 years old, Garrett Ryan. On the 11th in Athens, Georgia, 26 years old, Marcavius Sims. Again on the 11th in Corpus Christi, Texas, again very young, 18 years old, Dwayne Johnson. Once more on the 11th in Delhi, Louisiana, 47 years old, Roderick Edmond. Moving to the 12th in Pittsburgh, Wisconsin, 28 years old. The name has not yet been released by the police.
Cell blocks for killer cops.
Again on the 12th In Warner Robins, Georgia, 20 years old, Nicole Concepcion.
Mikel Concepcion.
And the last person who we're holding up this evening, killed by police, was in Alexandria, Virginia, again on the 12th, 61 years old, Paul Behan. Mike check.
Mike check.
So again, I want to thank you for the money tonight. And it's always great when I'm talking to two faces that they need it for years and come out and I love it. And big shout out to Queen Oak. Because I remember when we did the march and Uncle Bill told somebody to walk in it or supporting the John Hopkins student. And Oak literally got that along with Go Hard. Like literally. So, like, they, like, set up for me. That was supposed to be honest because this lady was setting by my vehicle, literally. So, again, thank you. I love you all. Remember, live to love, love to live. Remember, we're more than hashtags and body tags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. All lives matter. It may not matter to the ones that are killing us, but it matters to us. Like my brother Boone, nice, gotta hang it out. Come on, Boone.
We all we got?
We all we need.
We all we got?
We all we need.
We all we got?
We all we need.
And we all they got.
There we go.